What's up, guys? Samoan Fan 101, and this is my Fastlane pay-per-view review. Now, I'm sorry I didn't get to this sooner, but my family just came over from California, my sister's family, that is, and I got along with college work and trying to catch up on wrestling from last week. I just haven't had the time to do it yet. But here I am today. I will be reviewing Fastlane, including the pre-show, because it's a match that deserves to be watched, and here we go. The pre-show match is it is Kalisto defending the United States Championship against Alberto Del Rio. Now, in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Now, at first I groaned at the idea of another Kalisto Del Rio match, but considering the fact they haven't been wrestling one-on-one matches recently, with the exception of the pre-show match, of course, and sorry about that, and the fact there was a 2 out of 3 fall stipulation, I thought it got a little interesting. Um, as far as the match was actually a very good match here. I had a lot of fun with this match. It's the only match I saw the night of the show because I couldn't see Fastlane until the day after because I don't get pay per view. I just watch it online and all that crap. But with that being said, I thought this was a very good match. It was definitely a hell of a way to start the show because here's the thing. A pre-show match is basically a show to try to get the crowd hyped up for the actual pay-per-view. You put a match like this out there in the pre-show and not a 3-minute squash, then you're going to get the fans hyped. And guess what? The fans were into this match. Kalisto won the first... Actually, yeah, Kalisto won the first fall by disqualification when he was getting the upper hand on Del Rio after Del Rio hit him with a chair. And then... soon afterwards, Del Rio got, I think he got a pin with either the kick or just some kind of top rope move. I forget. But either way, he got a pin soon afterwards. And then they started working from there on. They had some really good moves here and there. This was the first Del Rio match between Kalisto and Del Rio that didn't have any botches because if you notice in their past matches at the Royal Rumble, the Raw match, the SmackDown match, and their match back in November. During the WWE title tournament, you can tell definitely that there were some botches in every one of those matches. This is the only match where there wasn't a botch, which is good considering the fact that it was supposed to open up a pay-per-view and try to get your crowd hyped. There's no stronger way to get a crowd to falter than with a huge botch that people crap on immediately. With that said, it was a very good match. Kalisto won the match with it wasn't a Salida del Sol. What happened was it looked like he was trying to go for a Salida del Sol, off the top rope while Del Rio was standing up in the ring, of course. And instead he kind of did the it was like from right here, he kind of rolled Del Rio. Del Rio's head hit the turnbuckle. It was not exposed, but he hit the turnbuckle. And then Kalisto went for a cradle pin, a roll-up pin, and rolled him up for the win. 1, 2, 3. Kalisto is still your United States champion. I was so happy at this. And in terms of predictions, this was my. Hold on a second. I got the matches here. Let's see here. I went 6-8 with my predictions tonight because there was an unannounced match, so I couldn't make any predictions on the 7th one. So I guess it's 6-8 or 6-7 out of predictions I did make. I don't know. I didn't make a predictions video, but I did predict that Kalisto was going to win here. I wanted him to win. I think it would have been better for him to win. I predicted he would win, and he did. There's any complaint I had about this match is that I'm not a fan of roll-up finishes on pay-per-view events, especially in a title match, but I guess it works well. I don't know. With that said, on to the actual pay-per-view. The actual pay-per-view opened up with a tag team match. It was between Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks versus the remnants of Team Bad, Naomi and Tamina. Now, to me, now, first of all, it was a good match. It Yeah, a Divas match for once was actually good on pay per view. Yeah, finally they're giving some focus to the division after all this Divas Revolution shit that made no sense. Um, oh, hold on, there's a flare in my glasses. There we go. Oh, damn it. That is too dark. Whatever, just deal with my glasses for now. What happened? It was a very good match here. It was a good match. It was a good way to open up the show. It wasn't a great match, but it wasn't a bad match. Each wrestler gave it their all. The only wrestler that I find lacking is Tamina, but then again, Tamina's never been a good wrestler. Um, Sasha and Becky got the win here after Sasha pinned Naomi with the bank statement, and maybe it was she pinned, not pinned. She submitted Naomi with the bank statement, or maybe it was Tamina. I don't know. But with that said, it was a good match, and with the events of Raw that happened this week, which I'll get to later, um, I'm still hoping for a triple threat match. Although both of these women were very over, and they deserve to be in a triple threat match at WrestleMania. Now, with that said, let's go on to the next match. Kevin Owens, your new Intercontinental Champion as of last Monday night, defeated Dolph Ziggler at Fastlane. This was another good match, and I only say trust. And if it wasn't for the amount of TV matches they had over the past month, I would have called it probably a very good match. But it was just a good match because we've seen Owens and Ziggler go at it so many times. You're either gonna do two things: one, move Ziggler up the card, or make him interesting, or two, just turn him heel. Because this is doing nothing for him and Kevin Owens. This is basically filler for if Kevin Owens faces Sami Zayn. With that said, it was still a good match. It was still enjoyable. You had some really fun moments. Kevin Owens won, and I hope to God he faces Sami Zayn. And I don't know what Dolph Ziggler is gonna do. He's probably just gonna be in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, if I had to guess. Next match, and this is where the show, for just a brief little while, dipped. It dipped for one match, but God, was it horrible. This was a shitty match. It was the Wyatt family, which was the team of Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, and Braun Strowman, versus the other team Giants, which is the team of Big Show, Kane, and Ryback. Oh, I'm not going to go into details to why this match sucked. Don't get me wrong. The match was not a complete pile of shit. It was better than I expected it to be. I was expecting a dud, considering Big Show, Kane, and Strowman were in it. And considering it was all Giants, I was expecting a complete dud. I was expecting complete ass. I didn't exactly get a piece of shit. I really more so got a pile of cat vomit. Either way, the match sucked. Right, which didn't really help because I'm gonna call Team Ryback or Team Giants. Team Giant got the pin clean when Ryback, I believe, he pinned Eric Rowan after hitting the shell shock. Yes, that's right. The Wyatt family actually lost, and with how they've been making the Wyatt family look strong, um, supposedly facing Brock Lesnar WrestleMania, up until Monday night, um, it didn't make these guys look good. It didn't really make them look good at all. It was just not that good. The ending wasn't good. The match was just balls. It was one of the two bad matches of the night. I'll get to the other one later. But for the most part, this match was just a complete bore fest. I was bored watching this match. It did not interest me at all. Next match, which was definitely better, was the Divas Championship match between Brie between champion Charlotte defending her title against Brie Bella. Now, for the most, they've been building this up, but the problem is the crucifix of the build up was Daniel Bryan's retirement. And literally a week after Daniel Bryan retired, Charlotte was out there mocking Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella, saying what their goat-faced babies are gonna look like. I understand getting on someone that people really love for heat, but a week after they retired, too soon. This was not as extreme, but this was just like when Randy Orton hit Undertaker with a tire iron back in 2005, and then used Eddie Guerrero's car, his one of his lowriders, and smashed it through the SmackDown set. In terms of storyline, that was awesome. It was the shit. But the problem with it is they used Eddie Guerrero's lowrider just weeks after his death. Again, this hit too close to home. Um, and that was my problem with this match. It hit too close to home. The crucifix of this was mocking Daniel Bryan. The guy just retired. Give him a few months, for God's sakes, please. Don't piss us off. With that said, the match itself was actually an okay match. It actually was all right. You got some good moves here. Brie Bella actually somewhat impressed me, something she's never done in the past, with the exception of maybe her match with Stephanie at SummerSlam a couple years ago. But it was a good match. Charlotte won. I think she actually won clean, with the exception of maybe a little bit of Ric Flair, erratic shit. But other than that, it was mostly a clean match. It was an okay match. It's probably one of Brie Bella's best matches of her career, and a few months later, Brie Bella's probably gonna retire soon. So I guess and of course Charlotte had to win here. She's gonna face either Sasha Banks at WrestleMania or a triple threat with Sasha and Becky. So, it was an all right match. Charlotte, I think she got Brie Bella with the figure eight, which in terms of the positioning of the ring didn't make any sense because Brie Bella was right there next to the ropes. Why the hell didn't she just grab the damn thing? But other than that, it was an all right match. It was definitely not a bore fest, not unlike the tag match from previously. Okay, next we have what I enjoyed more than anything. The match, I didn't. Well, maybe not enjoy. Maybe that's the wrong word. But one of the biggest matches I was looking forward to this night was round 3, AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho. Unlike Charlotte and Brie Bella, Jericho and Styles have been doing very well in storyline. Basically, Styles debuted at the Royal Rumble. He beat Chris Jericho on Raw in his debut singles match, which was big. But then the storyline kept on slowly and surely building from there. Jericho wanted a rematch, which he got a week and a half later on SmackDown. Jericho won. Styles wanted match round goddamn 3. Actually, no, it wasn't a week and a half later. It was 2.5 weeks later. It was 2 weeks later on SmackDown. And then Monday night, I think it was the Raw before Fastlane. Styles, cut his first in the ring promo with Jericho, saying that they should go for round goddamn 3 at Fastlane. Jericho at first refused, and then he refused again on SmackDown, which Styles attacked him, saying, "No, give me my goddamn match." And it's like, "Oh, you want to fight? Fine, you and me at Fastlane." And they went this was the second longest match of the night, and deservedly so. They should have used this time. In my opinion, this was probably the best of their 3 matches, and it's one of those times when commentary actually got it right. Each match they had got better and better and better. The first match on Raw, they were just feeling it out, making sure they knew each other. The SmackDown match was great, and the Fastlane match was greater. It's still in the same, around the same rating in terms of star rating, but it was a great match. It was definitely the best of the 3 matches. Now, with that said, Styles won the match after hitting a Styles Clash on Jericho, and after Jericho kicked out, he immediately went for the calf crusher, which everywhere else it was called the calf killer, but of course, PG, you can't call it kill. So he went for the calf crusher, and Jericho soon tapped out. It was a great match here. This was the second best match of the night. You guys need to see this now. This was the second best match of the night, nearly the best, but the main event beat it out. But anyway, the second best match of the night. You had some really good wrestling on here. This was Jericho's best match in several years. I'd say going back to probably his match with RVD in 2013. Okay, yeah, he had a great match with Neville last year at Beast in the East. And had a great match with Randy Orton at Night of Champions in 2014, as well as a very good match with Bray Wyatt that same month. And, man, hate it when that happens. And, it was just a very fun match. And yeah, it was his best match since RVD. Because if you remember that RVD match with him and with those two, 2013, they freaking tore the house down. That's exactly what they did. They tore the goddamn house down. And it was awesome. This is his best match in years, and Jericho proved, even at the age of 45, that he can still work a great match, especially with a guy like Styles, who was known for being probably the best in-ring performer of 2015. Great match after great match after great match with guys like, Kazuchika Okada, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Will Ospreay, that triple threat with Will Ospreay, Styles, and Marty Scurll, a match with Jushin Thunder Liger, literally the day after that triple threat. Matches with Katsuyori Shibata. I think he had a match with Tomohiro Ishii, I forget. With Kota Ibushi, those two matches with Ibushi. It's just his match with John Hennigan or John Morrison. And then just last month with his two matches with Zack Sabre Jr. and Shinsuke Nakamura. Two of some of the best matches of his career. Hell, a lot of people argue the Wrestle Kingdom match with him and Nakamura was the best match ever that he ever had. Even better than their match in Unbreakable. It was just amazing, and I freaking loved it. Now, with that said, after the match was over, Jericho, while Styles was celebrating, Jericho first, he thought he was going to attack, but then, about a minute goes by, Jericho's face slowly changes and then takes out a hand to shake Styles' hand. And Styles shakes his hand, and, and this past week on Raw and SmackDown, it seems that Jericho and Styles are now friends. My prediction is that Jericho at some point is going to turn heel on Styles, and they're going to have some kind of gimmick match at WrestleMania. It's probably going to be one of the best matches of the night. I'm not exactly predicting that, though I will not be surprised if it happens. Next match, and this was the other match I didn't predict well on. The first match that I got the prediction wrong was Wyatt family, who I thought was going to win against Team Giant, which did not happen. But the next match was an unannounced match with the Social Outcasts. Curtis Axel faced R-Truth in a match that didn't even last 2.5 minutes. Maybe 2 minutes and change. That's how long they worked. It was horrible. Basically, Social Outcast came for their promo. R-Truth came out. During the match, at some point during the match, I think the Social Outcast tried to, and remember, I think that means that I didn't care one iota for this match. Though I do know that Goldust came out to try to help R-Truth and ended up accidentally costing him the match. So all those backstage segments and skits that we've been seeing with R-Truth and Goldust, I guess, they either might form a tag team or just might come to a head at WrestleMania, which I don't really, come on, I don't see coming. As far as the match itself, Curtis Axel pinned R-Truth in a matter of a couple minutes. This match was shite. This match was the dud of the night. This match sucked. It sucked balls. This was the piece of shit that I was expecting earlier with the tag team match, which thankfully did not happen. Apparently hoping only does so much. With that said, main event was Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Brock Lesnar triple threat match to determine the number one contender against Triple H at WrestleMania. Triple H being your WWE champion. Now, get this out of the way right now. This was the match of the night. Another great match, another great triple threat match, and another great triple threat match with Brock Lesnar. What else can you ask for? This was absolutely fantastic. It wasn't so much the great in-ring wrestling match that I'd say the triple threat match of the Royal Rumble was last year. You know, with Cena, Rollins, and Brock. Sorry about that. But it was a very great match. And it wasn't so much about the in-ring wrestling, although there was some really good in-ring wrestling. It told us, it was supposed to tell a story, which it did. It told a very good story. All three of these guys were pretty much desperate to go to WrestleMania. It was a great match. I loved the spot where Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, a la The Shield, powerbombed Brock Lesnar through 2 announce tables. Thankfully, they did not go for the Spanish announce table. Thank God. But with that said, that's said. But I digress. And anyways, Ambrose and Reigns, they faced off against each other for a few minutes. Lesnar came back into the fold. Hold on, I gotta turn off the fan. Sorry, guys. When the fan keeps going and I talk a lot, that ends up always, cutting off the air and crap. It happens, like dust in your throat. But anyways, with that said, they worked for a few minutes. Brock Lesnar came back in the fold and did a pretty good spot where I think it was Roman Reigns was going for a Samoan drop with Dean Ambrose, and then Lesnar came in and just not F5, but German suplexed them, which was a very good spot. Match ended with Brock Lesnar. He had the Kimura lock on Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns did the Cena spot where he was standing up and trying to break out of it, except he didn't break out of it. Dean Ambrose used a steel chair and hit Brock Lesnar with it. He hit Lesnar with it a few times. Then he turned around and hit Reigns with the chair 3 times. And then he hit Lesnar. Sorry about that. Then he hit Brock Lesnar again. And Lesnar rolled out of the ring. Afterwards, he turned around to Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns immediately hit him with a spear. I only have one problem with this match. My one problem with this match was that ending. What happened was Roman Reigns gets hit with a steel chair 3 times. And then just a few seconds later is able to pull out a spear and celebrate at the end of the match. This reeks of Super Cena. This reeks of Super Reigns. This was bullshit. But other than the BS ending, it was a very great match. Great match, highly recommended. Afterwards, after Roman Reigns celebrated, Triple H came out and basically told him, "Yeah, you're facing me at WrestleMania. Now come and get it." So then and other than the Super Reigns moment, this match didn't really have too many flaws. Obviously, I wish it could have gone on longer. I think it went like 17 minutes, maybe 4 or 5 minutes with a couple more weapon spots here and there. Would have added a lot more. Um, and that's my Fastlane review. I thought this was a very good show. I thought it was a very good show indeed. I've heard several people shit on the show, and I don't know what they're talking about. Because with the exception of two matches, I enjoyed all the others. I enjoyed both of the women's matches. I loved the main event, and I loved Styles and Jericho. I I was all right with Owens and Ziggler since they did try to do a couple new things in in their match, and I liked Del Rio and Kalisto. I thought that was a very good match, and oh yeah, Doi kind of forgot. There was one more thing that happened this night before it was either before or after, but before or after the Jericho Styles match, Edge and Christian had a segment. It was the Cutting Edge Peep Show, which combined both their talk shows, and they had the New Day as guests. You know, shenanigans happened. Then League of Nations came out and basically almost challenged New Day. Honestly, by the end of the segment, it was a fun segment. And by the end of the segment, New Day was by the end of the segment, New Day was they were almost treated as faces, and they didn't pull it off this week. But I believe that they might turn New Day face and have them feud with the League of Nations, more like the League of Losers into WrestleMania. So it was a very fun segment. It was a good show. I don't know why people shit on it. I've seen reviews of it, and I just cannot agree. I thought it was a good show. I thought it was a good segue into WrestleMania with two great matches, two good women's matches, two good undercard mid card title matches, and yeah, two matches that weren't so good. But other than that, I thought it was a very good show. Now, with that said, were there flaws? Yeah. Nobody wanted to see Axel and R-Truth. Nobody wanted to see Team Giant versus the Wyatt family. But other than that, it was a very good show. I recommend it personally. And with that said, later today, I will hopefully be uploading my Raw, Impact, SmackDown, NXT, Lucha Underground. Damn, that's a lot. And hopefully my first Ring of Honor review, probably within the next couple days. So with that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. Peace.